Woburn. I am excited to be catching up with Scott, who's come back from vacation. We have lots of things to talk about. And then we're going to talk about some Spanish fun. And I'm really excited to chat with Esther about the program and learn a little bit more. I know you can't see her on the screen yet, but she has her festive colors on. So we'll get the full effect. Welcome back, Scott.
Good to be back, Samantha.
I know you've got about a week under your belt since vacation. Does it feel like it was a lifetime ago, or do you remember?
Well, you know what? I took a couple of day trips, so it wasn't quite a week getaway, which I've got another one planned in August. But we took a couple of days up to North Conway, which was nice, and then we actually went to see that Neil Diamond show, which was great. If anybody hasn't seen it, beautiful noise, and in Boston, it was really good. And that's about it. Did a few things around the house, but I was local.
That's awesome. All places I love. Show is on my list to want to go see. So yeah. Maybe I'll go look at tickets when we're done.
It's the little Saturday.
I love it. I've been spending so much time at the lake as part of my challenge, and it's like, I want to see it, but do I want to spend the weekend at the lake? And it's a tough.
Stay at the lake. If it's between the lake and coming back, I'd stay at the lake.
I think that's good advice. I love it. I did want to just call out a shout out to Lowe's. I saw that they made a nice, generous donation of a grill, it looked like, to our fire department, which was a nice little surprise. Well, it was a surprise to me. I don't know if it was a surprise in general, but that was a nice treat to see.
That's good. They're a good community business to have.
Yeah, I love it. So I have a lot of questions about the budget, Scott. So I did have an opportunity to take a look at what you had sent over, and I really appreciate it. I thought we could start really just by setting context for those who are watching. One of the things that we're looking at is this is the capital budget. Overall, how does this compare to sort of our operating budget? So these are there's different types of expenses that we as a city have for those who aren't familiar with the distinction.
So the difference between the operating and the capital is the operating is an annual budget that's costs that we are incurring on a regular basis. For instance, salaries, utilities, and basically other maintenance items that we incur every single year. Sometimes they increase slightly, whether it's through inflation but the budget is generally pretty much the same on basis. It's pretty much the same, except there'll be increases from the provider, whether it be utilities or different services that we incur. But those are ongoing expenses, and those are funded through taxes, local receipts, and local aid from the government. So those are constant items that we have. The capital budget is more of a look at what's going on, over a 5-year period. Some communities even do it longer, but it's very difficult. In fact, the 5-year capital plan, if you look at the plan, it does change. And that's why it's a 5-year plan, but it does change some of those bigger capital items that we have on there. For instance, you'll always see the roads are in as capital expenditures, bigger equipment used by whether it be the DPW, fire, or police. We generally put in capital, even though some of them do recur regularly. For instance, the police usually need 2 or 3 new vehicles every year. The DPW needs a couple, but there are different items that are usually bigger items in the capital as a general rule. And you may find a few that slip under that, but a general rule, we like to say anything over 10,000 could be considered a capital expenditure. And we deal with each department head, talk to them about what their needs are, work with the engineering department, DPW very closely about what infrastructure needs they see over the next 5 years. And even the schools who are now, and I made it clear that this capital plan is going to change significantly when the capital report that they're putting together now. And I think DNISCO just won that bid, and they'll be doing an analysis of the school needs, and we'll get those back and we'll put them into a capital form to update this budget.
Great. So I love a good color-coded spreadsheet. Got to tell you, it's a little inside scoop to my psyche that no one actually needs to know, but that is the way it goes. And I spent a little time just putting percentages and things, just to put things in an order for me that helped me understand it. And one of the things that the budget does nicely is it breaks down where the funding source is coming from. So
Right.
not everything that we spend as a city comes from our tax base. There are other ways that we as a city generate it. And one of the things that surprised me was the percentage of our budget, both for next year, which is a little over 24%, and across 5 years, over 37%, that comes from grant.
Right.
And that's a significant portion. And just if I understand grants correctly, and I could very well be wrong, most grants are for a specific thing. So it's not like we can take that money from a grant and put it into a pool and reallocate it towards other things. Am I correct in my understanding of that?
You're 100% correct. It has to, it's subject to, whoever provides the grant, it's subject to their spending rules, their audit rules. So yeah, the money comes for the specific purpose that we apply for the grant. And those are, you'd mentioned that I think it's a sign of a good city when you're able to pay for many of your capital needs through other people's money, right?
We certainly like, our tax rate likes that. So
Yeah.
there were a couple other funding sources that weren't obvious to me. I did a little digging and I think I generally understand what they are, but I thought I'd save our viewers the time and ask you just to
Sure.
quickly recap what they are. So GF debt. So there's roughly 10% of budget that comes from that funding source. What exactly is
So that's
that?
general fund debt, and that's the principal amount. And we have a different on our 5-year projection for revenues and expenditures. We generally try to break that debt out to what it represents on an annual basis. But those numbers that we put in there in the budget are for the city council. It's general fund debt, and that's the principal amount. So we have the new ladder truck, and then the demo of the Hurled School, and those are, as I said, those are the principal amounts. And if we do in fact at the time borrow them and don't find another source, that number will then be spread out over the 20-year borrowing period. Okay. So it'll be something less, but then it'll eventually work its way into the city's operating budget as part of our ongoing debt.
The one that I it's still unclear on is the pay as you go. So that represents a pretty significant chunk of budget next year, about 30%, a little bit less over 5 years.
Yeah, and that's the one that the department heads like. That's that's really free cash that we're using, Samantha. So we'll get that money from our free cash / stabilization fund, and we've tried to keep it in the area of $3 million to $3.5 million. To not really exceed what we're generating in free cash on an annual basis. And the free cash, remember, that's the difference between what we budget and what we spend, and also what we estimate for our revenues and what we collect. So when we sometimes, when you budget conservatively, you don't want to try to budget to the dollar, although it would be nice if you could. You always want to budget, you're hoping that when you budget something, you don't spend all of that. Let's say, if we budgeted 147 million and we spent 146,500,000 in a year, that 500 would drop to free cash.
Okay.
And then if we estimated our revenues to be 147 million and they came in at 148, we'd have an extra $1 million because we'd have more revenues. So then you're generating free cash. That's what the general principle is.
And that's important because it gives us flexibility as things arise, right?
Right.
We can't predict. I was always, when I worked for large corporations, I had a significant budget, not as significant as the cities, but I had a significant budget. And I would allocate that out pretty well, but always kept about 10% was my, I don't know what it's for, but I promise I'm going to spend it money. And in variable, when people would want things, we could vet it and then, pull out. It's a little less free a process here, I assume. Than what it's a
similar scenario, but generally the department heads at a certain point in the year, we tell them if they're going to make expenditures, they need to be approved by my office, and that goes through the auditor's office, and we try to eliminate purchases at the end of the year that aren't necessary.
Overall, the capital budget represents what % of our operating budget? Is it more or is it less typically?
Well, that's the capital budget it stands on its own, so you have your operating budget, which is the general fund budget and the water and sewer budget. And then we have the capital budget, which is different. So I don't know if I could say what percentage of your expenditures it represent.
But they're not necessarily related to each other. The reason the nature of that question for me sort of came from, I was looking at some of the things that are in the capital budget, like a skate park from Woburn Rec and, the Herald Park demo. Those things are fantastic. Super excited to see us. We have that pocket park we got money from the state, like all really, really exciting new recreational space for us as a city that will increase the demand for maintenance over time, I assume, right?
Probably. Yeah. That's good. That's a good point. Most likely, yes, it would.
Yeah. So does our current Woburn Rec operating budget sort of reflect these yet or not yet, because they're going to take a while to build?
They'll take a while to build, and we'll see what type of impact they have on services. We are adding more recreation land, for parks to take care of. We'll see how this one, like the Herald Park, won't be built. We're looking probably three years down the road if everything falls into place. We're doing the design work, the demo work. So you're probably talking 3 years maybe that it would start. A lot of planning goes into that. The skateboard park's a different story. We're excited about that, and the Recreation Commission has really been pushing to get that moving. So we put into the design funds, and I'm confident we'll start that next year. That's something that, the skateboard park, I don't see that as being a tremendous maintenance time suck. It's really, it would kind of stand on its own. You'd have to get in there, sweep it, clean it, but it's not a big maintenance issue, I wouldn't think.
Yeah, I imagine it's going to be largely concrete and, hard surfaces for people to use for that kind of thing. So some cleaning and things, but nothing major. Good. Some of the other things that I was just noticing, one of the things that was on the capital budget was voting machines. Are these replacements for current voting equipment, or are those an expansion of our equipment?
That's a new system, and Bill Campbell, the former city clerk, was on this for probably the past, 5-6 capital budgets. And every time it came time, he said, no, I think we've got another year out of them. So we kept putting it off. And now I think we're at a point in dealing with the new clerk, Lindsay Higgins. We talked about the right time to do it. And she felt this was the right time to get them moving. So, here we go. The replacement, new technology, and it's a good thing, exciting.
Yeah, it is. That is good. I noticed that the Plimpton School is not listed in capital budget. We had budget at one point allocated to demo it. Is that because that budget has already been put aside, or is that?
Yeah, I'm looking at that right now in my end of year. We've got 565 in there. We've got the 35 with our consultant Weston and Sampson to give us the design, and I'll be meeting with the city engineer to begin. To begin the procurement process, and we'll start. We're hoping the fire station, we've got a slight delay on the fire station. One of the major pieces of electrical equipment has been delayed, and the contractor tells us due to COVID. So the fire station's looking more like it's being delayed. We were hoping we'd be in there by November, but it's looking more like towards the end of the year, first of the year. So now we're trying to, again, keep those two online, but the demo work for the Plimpton, we're hoping to and again, depending on prices, Samantha, because it is, we are seeing prices for construction services coming higher than we had planned. So we really do have to look at those and make sure that they're coming in where they would come in normal time. So
I have to tell you, if it's anything like my little deck project that I just did, I did not fully, I budgeted for the same material costs I paid a couple of years ago, and it is not the same material cost.
So we're looking at that, but the money's still in our, and will continue to be until the school comes down.
Okay. We got a couple other things just to raise awareness of, I think we've talked about this before. We have a second ambulance and a new ladder truck, as I assume when the fire department comes online, the new one, those things will be there to service that. There's some new firearms for the police. There's a couple more trucks for DPW, which is great. I know they have some really old equipment, and so I'm sure they're pleased about that. One other little thing that caught my attention was a backup generator for the senior center. Is the senior center like an emergency response location? Is that why we
it is a secondary spot, along with the, believe it or not, the ice rink is a secondary spot. But it's not a major priority. That's why that might be something you'll see slip again, next year. We might push that back. We start looking at our needs. We might push that back another year, and again, something else might slide into its place.
Okay, great. Now, I know there was a lot of stuff in here, a lot of really good stuff. I looked at the list and I couldn't see anything. I said, oh my goodness, why would we ever do that, right? It all made sense to me. It's logical. I encourage people to look at it. But I know trade-offs are made, and there was probably a lot more requests that came in than make the list. We have a limited set of funds. Is there anything that you felt you really would have liked to gotten into this capital plan but didn't make it, and are sort of actively looking for ways and grants and things to do, over the course of the next few years?
One of the things that has been a big push as of late is like redoing the playgrounds across the city. And I know Rory she'd like to do part of Leland over again. We did some of the equipment about 5 years ago, and some of the equipment is still older. She'd like to do Leland again. So that would be nice if we had a little extra we could do. We are, of course, doing Frullo Field, which will be a nice redo. But really, I think that everything's pretty much been addressed in this budget. Some of the department heads, they might have different feelings on that. A big part I know you can see of our capital is that addressing PFAS, and that's still front and center, the most important issue that we have facing the city right now as far as the water, and we're moving forward with that. Every day we're working on that with our consultant. We also have a couple wells that need to be rebuilt. Every year we rehab one specific well, and that's really just tuning it up. One of them has come to nearing its productivity, and we're losing production. So it's important that we actually redo that entire well, and that's another big ticket item that we have in this capital budget. So PFAS, of course, we know the cost is going to be up there, and we're ready to deal with that. And we'll be dealing more with DEP and the funding on that. That's the low interest, no interest loan we're hoping to get from the SRF. That's the Safe Water Fund that the state set up. And, we'll be getting more answers on that beginning of September.
Great. And for those of you who do look at the budget, that stuff falls under engineering. So if you're looking at sort of big, you'll see there's a really big number on engineering, and that's driven largely by the water treatment process and fixing that. So, which is obviously very important to us as a city. Scott, thank you for answering all my questions on this. Is there anything else budget related that you'd like the community to know?
No, just I'm pretty sure that the council meets. I'd urge people to check the city's website. The committee on this capital budget is Tuesday night, August 9th. Is that Tuesday?
That is a Tuesday. The 9th is a Tuesday.
But just check the city website if anybody's interested in attending and wants to, go down and comment on any of the capital. Check with the city clerk to confirm the date and time. You can always get the capital budget online, and we'll make sure it's online before the meeting, so that if they want to look at it and they have any questions, they can call my office or, show up right that night.
That's fantastic. Thank you, Scott. Welcome back from vacation. Glad
good to be
back
here.
at the desk, and we'll talk again soon.
Thanks,
Next
Samantha.
up, we have Esther from our Spanish Fun program. I'm super excited to be chatting with Esther. Welcome.
Hi, everybody. Hola. ¿Cómo
I
están?
want you to turn around and do a spin for us. That dress is fantastic. I love it.
Vestido. Este es un vestido. It's a dress.
Fabulous.
Mexican dress. Yes. We use vestido to dance.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And we can just do this and turn around. And like you say, it's very colorful. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, I'm very glad to have you, and I'm wildly underdressed compared to your festive colors there. Thank you so much for joining me. I wanted to chat a little bit because I just see the most darling pictures come out of the Spanish Fun program, and the kids look like they're having the most amazing fun time. Tell us a little bit about what inspired you to start this program for us.
Yes, well, first of all, thank you so much. It has been great to be, teaching Spanish. I create a Spanish Fun program to teach Spanish and have fun, which is my priority. Definitely is having fun. I have been teaching Spanish through, 20 years. But, I just realized that when you are relaxing and having fun, basically your brain, even if you're an adult, transform into a little sponge and you just absorb everything when you are relaxing. For example, now. So do you know any words in Spanish, Samantha?
I know hello, maybe. Hola.
Hola, that's right.
And maybe gracias, maybe.
Gracias, that's a good one. Well, guess what? So mango is mango. Same thing. Yeah. So, and hola goes with H. You spell H-O-L-A. But if you take the H out, it's going to say hola too, but it means wave from the ocean.
I did not know
because
that.
The H is silent in Spanish, so it doesn't have any sound. And, it's just so, it has been so amazing. All these kids, the toddler class, the baby class. I have also a class for big kids. I call big kids because they feel that they are big, but they don't like the parachute at the beginning, but then they love it. And then I have a class for adults as well. So for the toddler class, it has been amazing. The kids have so much fun. We do a lot of activities. For example, we start the class with a greeting song. Hola, 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 ¿cómo estás? Everything is like clapping and dancing and loud. I am a very loud person. So nobody sits and just be like, for 30 minutes. No, everybody's free to walk and run and dance and sing and everything. So we start with that greeting song, and I introduce also the hola, hola, ¿cómo estás? Which means, how are you? Bien o mal. And then we introduce some verbs, some action verbs. So aplaudir. And so they associate, so that means clapping. Yes, clapping. Or danzar. And I start dancing and they are like, oh, she's dancing, right? Bailar. Or cantar, la, 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 la. And they are just, oh, yeah, so she's singing. So that means, that cantar means singing. So it's a lot of association. That's what I do. And then after that, I use a trampoline and to teach the numbers or the days of the week or the months of the year. And so that, creates a lot of confidence for the toddlers, right? Because they are in a classroom or in an area with another 10, 15, 18 kids with different parents, and they do not know each other. So when I call, for example, Anna, come to the trampoline, it's your turn. So that creates confidence for Anna. So she starts jumping and everybody is clapping all together. And I start counting with everybody repeating after me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Muy bien, Anna. So Anna gets out of the trampoline like feeling like, woo, great. And then another kid comes and then another kid. And then, after the last toddler, everybody feels like so tired. So I said, let's sit down, because I feel a little hungry. And then I have a friend that comes everywhere with me, and is this guy right here, Paco el Policía, wants to say hola to you. ¿Dónde está Paco? Aquí está Paco, here is Paco. And so Paco feels so hungry. And so tengo hambre means I am hungry. And then so I have these food, right, which is like toys, right? I have the milk and the carrot and the ice cream, and I spread all this food on the ground, and I give this beautiful bag, which is 100% Mexican. It comes from Mexico. This is the bag. And then the kid, the toddler is, number one, they are sharing, because I constantly repeat, sharing is caring, guys, so you have to share. And then everybody puts some stuff in the bag, right? Like las uvas verdes, or la leche, the milk, or el helado, yum, 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 el helado. Or
That might
el
be my favorite.
naranja, and it's very fun. And then, you know, I have something that I really like. I talk about in Mexico, we have hundreds of different types of chile. We really love spicy. And I say, look, this is a paleta, it's a lollipop with chile, okay? So since I walk, probably, or I crawl, my mom put one of these in my mouth, which is very spicy, but you keep like licking and keep licking because it's so good. So then Paco el Policía, of course, loves chile because he's from Mexico too. And so then one girl gives the la paleta, or maybe the chile that I have right here. Let me show you my chile. Hold on, Paco. Paco's very patient with me. Right here, right? El chile verde. And then one toddler, oh, I have the chile. And so then Paco el Policía eats the chile. Ah, it's so spicy. And then, of course, you know, the kid wants to help Paco el Policía. And then, of course, find the leche or the drink, glug, 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 or the ice cream or the jugo de naranja, the orange juice. And it's just so fun. It's so fun. So which is the purpose of my class? Just learn Spanish, having fun in a relaxing way. Everybody learns in different way, but when you are having fun in a relaxing environment, your brain just absorbs everything. I have another game, which is very famous, is La Loteria. This is also coming from Mexico. It's a bingo. I mean, it's really a bingo, but with flashcards, right? So for example, here I have El Gallo, right? Or I have El Tambor, El Paraguas. So you can see El Árbol, El Sol. And then I start singing La Loteria, that's what we call in Spanish, cantar la lotería. I don't really sing. I just say, La Sandía. Can you see La Sandía here? It's the watermelon. Of course, everything is in Spanish, right? So I say, La Sandía. So everybody looks for oh, if I have La Sandía, so then the kid raise their hand and say, Lo tengo, I have it. And so that also creates, you know, confidence on the kid, for the toddler, or La Corona. And then they have to pay attention. El caso, and like that. So, you know, then we dance, of course, because I love dance. And then, you know, I have a song that is called La Vaca Lola, which has a head and a tail. So I have a costume, believe it or not, and I transform into a La Vaca, which is a cow. And I dress up like a cow and I just run around and everybody tries to chase my tail, which is the fun part. And I just made my workout that day because they run super fast. They are full of energy, those toddlers. And it's just so fun. It's just so fun. And then, of course, I have the parachute, which, you know, everybody loves the parachute. It's just very colorful and engage the activity with the mom or the dad or the grandparents, which I love the grandparents to come to the class and, you know, just interact with the grandchildren. And they are just shaking the parachute, just like my dress, right? And then we go up and then we go down and then we go to the right and to the left. And then I have these hundreds of colorful balls that we put on top of the parachute and then we shake it and the balls go like everywhere. And it's just, like I say, it's just so fun. I just love it. You know, toddlers give you, not just toddlers, all the kids in general gives you just that energy. Like, you know, they charge my battery every time that I go there. It's like a therapy. I always say that, you know what, thank you so much, because this is just a therapy for me. You know, listening to them and just, you know, see them, how they raise their hand and try to talk, because at that age, you know, you don't really care if you said it wrong, or they do not feel embarrassed or like, oh no, I'm not going to participate because what are they going to say? Or no, they don't. So this is the best age for everybody to learn, you know. And like I say, adults and big kids, for example, let me tell you something about my big kid class. So we travel around the Hispanic countries because we speak Spanish in more than 21 countries. And Spanish, you know, I always say the Spanish is one of the top 3 countries in medical field, business field, travel also. So it's very important to learn Spanish. And so these kids have the opportunity with me to travel around these 21 countries. And I teach them, for example, about Mexico, Colombia, or Argentina, or Honduras, or Belize, Peru. And we travel learning facts about the country. I make a very short presentation in Google, and then I show them pictures of the capital, the weather, the currency, what is the location, what are the traditions, what are the most important holidays, the food, which is what they love. They are like, oh, what is that? It looks so good. And so after that we dance and we play, and it's just so fun that they feel like, sometimes I feel like they feel so big, like, oh no, I am not doing the parachute, I'm 9, I'm sorry, but then they love it. They just go back to the older, the last days when they were playing outside, and they just love the class too. And I am very happy. I have also a class for babies. Imagine that, Samantha. Babies. I love babies. And, it was so good because even though they don't speak yet, right? Because they are babies, but they are just exposure to listen another music, to listen another sounds, just looking at the colors. I try to always make it attractive for the kids. My Spanish program class for adults is very relaxing too. We make a guacamole. Of course, I'm going to give you a list of the ingredients that you have to bring, and you will know how to do it. Of course, everything is in Spanish. So for that class, we have like a 20 or 30 words that you just learn making the guacamole. So, and you relax, it's like, okay, you're having fun.
I have to tell you, I love cooking classes. So I love the idea of combining cooking with eating. This is amazing stuff that you're doing. Now, just to make sure if those know, is it this class for people who speak Spanish at home, who don't speak Spanish at home, for anyone who'd like to learn some words and phrases?
Everybody. I have students that have their backgrounds because their parents are from Colombia or from Mexico, from El Salvador, and they love there because they like Spanish as well. But I have other students that they do not know any Spanish. So it's for everybody, for everybody.
That's wonderful. Now you have lots of different classes, and I've seen them in different locations, which is fantastic for us as a community. Where can people learn what the next set of classes is and how to register and all the good logistics information to take part?
So tomorrow, Tuesday, I don't know when the show is going to go out, but tomorrow I have a class at 5:30 at the Woburn Library. It's for Spanish. Next Tuesday, which is August the 9th at 6 o'clock, I will have my first summer concert. The Medford Family Network invite me, and I will be at the Condon Shell Field in Medford, which is in 2501 Mystic Valley Parkway. It's free. It's from 6 to 7 p.m. There are going to be activities for kids starting at 5:30, but I am planning to be there with this beautiful dress, dancing Mexican music with mariachis. And then I will invite 3 girls from the audience to be able, they are going to be able to wear this beautiful yellow dress that it has the same feature as mine. And they will, just learn how to dance the song with me if they want to. So I am very excited for this opportunity. Also, I will finish my classes at the Woburn Library tomorrow, but hopefully we can get more classes through the fall. The Hispanic Heritage Month is coming up in September and October. So the Spanish Fund Program has a surprise. We are preparing a storytelling, which is going to be very, very fun too. And, the Woburn Recreation Department, which has been wonderful. Rory opens the doors for me completely through spring and summer. So we will probably have more classes there. I have also a program that run during the spring and now is during the summer on Saturdays at 9 a.m. to 11 at the Medford High School courtyard. So it has been like, crazy, but I love what I do. You guys can find my information. Well, like I said, my name is Esther Gomez, and I will give all my information. You guys can maybe put it after. My Instagram is Spanish Fun Program. You guys can look videos there. And normally I post all the information where I am going to be the next, for the next days there. So it has been like, it has been great to do this.
Well, thank you for doing them, because clearly you have an amazing energy that is totally contagious. I can see why everyone has fun now. I'm so grateful that you joined us. And for those who are interested, we'll make sure, Jenna, our producer, will make sure to provide the information for easy access to those programs. And if you have interest in this, definitely let Woburn Rec and the library know. So as they're doing their scheduling and programming, they know all the people who might be interested in participating in it. Thank you so much for joining us. And as always, Woburn, please continue to take good care of each other.
Yeah, muchas gracias.